Hello, welcome to Astro Breeze weekly transits, weekly weather report, kind of. We pay attention to the weather a lot, and astrology's given us the weather as well, the astrological weather. Okay, so I started back. Why won't that go away? Oh well, we'll leave it there. Okay, I wanted to go back a day to look at this new moon, and we looked at it last week, coming into it, and now we'll look at it coming off of it. So yesterday, this is East Coast time. What did I set this to? Actually, I set this to the middle of the United States. I put this in Cambridge, Ohio. I think it was like an hour earlier, for East Coast there. Of course, it was almost 4:44. I thought that would be kind of a cool time. So anyway, I digress. We see the sun and the moon together, 20 degrees Scorpio, some odd minutes, but that's pretty neat, pretty intense. And then look at Mars is, it's ahead of the sun, slowing down. The sun will pass it. Soon we'll see that. So this is very interesting. We see this little cluster, but then Mercury over there in nice old happy Sagittarius. So what else about this? Okay, we got that, but then look, we have it coming, all of that coming into a direct opposition with Uranus. And we did talk about this, but we have to kind of carry on with this because it's happening into today. So we see this as, the moon at that time was right over there. So if I go ahead, an hour, whoops, I wanted to change it, sorry. Go ahead an hour. The moon already goes past, so about an hour later, see the moon passes the sun, and then it squares off or it opposes Uranus right there. You see it, boom. And then it gets right in the middle of the sun and Mars. That's kind of interesting, like at that time. So was anything particularly going on yesterday? This is, I put this for Central Time, almost 7 o'clock. Anyway, just think about that. We'll get into that in the today's study group. Okay, so I'm putting this ahead. Now, as we go to today, we could see now the sun opposes Uranus. Right? The moon did it yesterday when it was, when they were together conjunct for the new moon. And now the sun opposes Uranus all day today. So it's like, it's some odd minutes, but nonetheless, we have that opposition happening. And then the sun is gaining on Mars. Mars is slowing down. And it's going to be, they're conjunct already. So this energy, you got the sun and Mars. Those are like, they're both heating planets. The sun, and then it's hot, dry, Mars, hot, dry. But interesting in a wet, fixed sign. Does it cool it off a little bit? Does it make more steam, kind of? Well, it could be a little bit of both. So that's important to pay attention, keep hydrated, and maybe keep mineralized too. So, the minerals can help keep the water in the system. I don't know. I'm drinking my baking soda water now. A quarter teaspoon of baking soda and a cup of water, alkalizing, getting some of the minerals in. A pinch of my Redmond's real salt. I like that salt because it comes out of Utah. Great salt mines there, but Himalayan is good. Okay, so quick side with, we talk about medical astrology, but, this is it in action. We've got this interesting, mix here. And then the moon moves into a hot sign, moves into Sagittarius, and Mercury's in Sagittarius. So we could have some hothead, with the sun, Mars, you can get to be a hothead or deal with somebody in a hothead or throw water on a hothead. We got this mix of elements that's happening. Okay, so this is a big deal. And it comes into, opposing Uranus. It could just make for some, everything from unusual, out of the blue, upset, never thought about it, didn't see it coming, a wide variety of that. And, the thing about astrology, it's not fatalistic. It's just telling you that it's like, okay, it's raining today. Well, gosh, I can't go out in, flip-flops and a light t-shirt or something. It's like, that's not going to be a very good plan. I mean, you could, of course, but that's not going to be a very good plan. So this helps us to understand that in ourselves, in our relations, in with others, in the world we're dealing with. So yeah, there you have it. Okay, now that's today. And then, I got the happy moon moving into Sag because it was, it's all this intensity. I think it's been intense. A lot of stuff has been intense. I think maybe just a focus on a lot of things for people, because this is mundane astrology, how we see how it's affecting everybody. But if those degrees are making angles and aspects to your planets, if you have a planet at 21 or 22 degrees, it's going to affect you somehow. Now, depending on the aspect, is it loud or quiet? If it's conjunct, if you got your something there, if you got your sun there, then you're going to be right involved in all that. If you have your Venus there, you got a different can of worms. Venus doesn't like to be there. So does the planet like to be in that spot? What if it's making a square or a trine or, some other aspect? Is it making a softer, harsh aspect to you or to something, to your communications? Mercury, to your energy and drive, Mars, to your, what you like and desire, Venus. So is it making conversations with them? And is it making a nice conversation or a not nice conversation? So those are questions that we look at when we look at these things. So if it's not hitting on you or anything, it doesn't mean it's not occurring, but it's not focusing on you. You're not having anything that's a real big deal. So you cannot sweat that one and watch everybody else sweat and squirm and be glad it's not hitting you this one, but things go around. Okay. Yeah, that's today. Now we move into midweek, and we got some interesting sextiles this week. So sextile is a half of a trine. Trines are great. They're just, everything's just getting along. It's the same element. There's out of orb trines, but we're not going to talk about exceptions unless we talk about exceptions. But a lot of kind of interesting trines and a lot of interesting boom bong, bing bong kind of things happening. So here's a one bing bong. Mercury and Venus. They're two signs apart. That's a sextile. And they're both masculine or outward signs, Libra. And Venus likes to be here. Oh, that's good. And then Mercury, well, I mean, it can do stuff, but it's not one of its favorite places. It's, it's in detriment there. So, but anyway, it picks up some blessings from Venus. All right, so there's a trine. And then, interesting, then it's also forming a, and then it's coming into, the next day will be even exact, and quincunx, that 150 degree to Jupiter. All right, you see that? See, the next day it's actually be 8 or be 7 or, boom. Well, that later that day, actually, because I have this set for the morning. So Mercury's going quick. So you can see that when I went to the next day, it jumped 2 degrees. But if you didn't, believe me, it did. So Mercury sometimes going 2 degrees a day. So it's flying. So what does that mean? What does it mean? So Venus, again, liking to be where it's at. And it's kind of in its, Venus is in her beautiful pantsuit. She's not in her evening gown, so she's in her more outward masculine veneer. She's got the boots on and the pants and, different attire. She's more outward. She's dealing with people. She's not sensual, sitting home luxuriating. So it's in it. Venus is, so your likes, your money, your things, it's like it's a go out and get it. It's like a go communicate, because it's in that others sign, Libra. So you have to communicate what you want, maybe. And then, being the half of a trine, it's not as strong as a trine, but it's still nice. I'd take that as over a square any day, of course. Well, anyway, yes. So there's, you have to communicate what you want. There you go. And, it's kind of being outward, being bold and looking for, Mercury's in Sag is like the shiny object syndrome. It's a higher purpose. It's grass is greener. It's over there. It's enterprising. It's big. It's let's go. Let's look at this. And then Venus is in good aspects to that. But then, and then it's inharmonious to Jupiter, the planet, the big benefic. So it's like, well, it's like, it's just funny because the Sagittarius is the place where Jupiter wants to be. So it's kind of like, it kind of offsets it, I'd say, a little bit, because it's in a harmonious sign, but it's in a funky angle. So I think it's like a good thing in one way, because maybe the Jupiter in solid Taurus is like, well, is it worth it? Did is it a solid investment? Is it something that it would last? So maybe Jupiter's putting a little bit of a thought like that being in Taurus, but it's still like, well, if you think it out, don't tell your mom, but I got the 20 over here, or here's the 2,000 that you need for it. Or, it's like, I think it can kind of come through if you prove worthy of it, so to speak. Okay. So let's move on. And then we have Venus, again, they're still in that sextile, but then Venus now is in a really nice spot here. We've got her in here, but she's making that awkward inconjunct over to Jupiter. Yeah, isn't that cool? I mean, because they were sextile. So yeah, because we have, if Venus were in the next sign, she would be opposite. So that's the 180. So you minus that 30 degrees off, and there's your 150. But now this is interesting too, because Venus is even though it's in a quincunx, people call it an inconjunct. It's not correct. It's a quincunx, 5/12 of the circle. But anyway, Venus is in, again, her masculine identity, but this quincunx is involving her alter ego, her place of luxury. So there again, the benefic is like, well, is it worth it? Is it solid? It's the same kind of thing. It's like the Mercury energy the day before is having to communicate the feelings, followed the next day. It's like the feeling part of it, the Venus part is having to go through that same thing, and they're like two, Venus and Mercury are kind of like, they're working it, man. They're working it, baby. But here we got this kind of cool yod, right? Because with we got a sextile, and then two, the 150s. I think that one was the Thor's. No, the square is the Thor's hammer. Yeah, so this one's the yod. Well, they could be different yods. I forget which this one is called. We'll have to do a thing on all the different yods, which is really a yod is kind of like, there's two planets at the base that are in some kind of an aspect, and you see these two are 60 degrees apart, and that would have to make this 150. We'll go over that, but if these were like 90, then this angle over to this other planet would be different. We won't get into that right now. I don't want your head getting off too much, but it's just a cool configuration. So we've got this nice little configuration of Venus values, Mercury communications, working it, because they're funneling down to this finger here, right? There's this tip of this apex over to Jupiter, the greater benefic. So this is a very, very nice aspect. I think use it wisely. Get in touch with communicating what you want and need, and make it valuable, profitable, not just willy-nilly. And I think it will work for you all. And if you have things at that degree, throw that in there. Give a few degrees on either side of 8. So like say, I don't know, 4 or 5 degrees, 8, 9, 10, 11, unless it's sun or moon. So like 13 to like 3, kind of, if you give it like 5 degrees or 4 right in there. Okay, yeah. Thursday, there was Thursday. Now moving into Friday, we'll see. We've had the moon, with Sagittarius, and then on Thursday in the morning it moves into Capricorn. So that's bringing a little bit of somberness to the whole energy of. But use it as like, Capricorn's purpose, and that it's grounding the moon's feelings, so it's not getting out all over the place, and it's keeping it in tack, so to speak. All right, it goes too fast. Friday. So going into Friday. Now Mars, and now here we got a lot of things happening with Neptune. So my only warning on a lot of that is, Neptune can bring a little confusion or disillusionment, or it's not what you thought. So just beware of that. But we've got a lot of good aspects coming up with it. So first one, Mars at 25. When it was at 24, and then the Sun too. Both of them are in. Actually, let me go back a day. See, look, it changes, like 23, I would have to go by the hour, but look at 23 Sun, 24 Mars, and 25 Neptune. And they are in trine because these are water signs. Water everywhere. Yes. Okay, so we go, the next one, it moves 1 degree, and then this is going retrograde, so it goes back. Isn't that interesting? So here on Friday, we've got the Sun. The Sun is actually the exactly trine, but Mars is trine to it was, earlier. So anyway, we'll just say both of those because they're so close. Trining over there. So we've got that energy now to maybe bring something from your imagination, bring something that was unknown before, or unseen, or illusory, or just out of your grasp. This is the time that can do it, because you got that fusion of the Sun and Mars, like every 2 years, when its orbit goes around, and then now it's in Scorpio. So it's like we've got that intensity, we got that focus, we got that fusion, and it's kind of maybe manifesting a dream, manifesting a long-term idea or dream or something that you've had. So that's really big, just that in and of itself. And then we got the moon making nice aspects, sextiles, to the Sun and Mars, and then as it goes forward into what is that planet? Mercury. Gosh, it's funny sometimes I go, but we've got the 2 signs apart again. So when they're a wide. Well, let me put it this way: when the moon moves up a little bit, it'll be at those degrees, it'll be a nice sextile. So it's sextiling both of those, and the moon over here is going to sextile Neptune. So let's just look at the time, actually, because I think that might be kind of significant, because they'll be lined up. So let's look for when the moon gets like 4 degrees. Round and round and round and round. There we go. All right, so this is Friday, 9:45 at night. So you can, as you, I keep saying East Coast. This is Central. Okay, so it would be, you can go a couple hours to the West Coast and then add 1 hour more to the East Coast. So anyway, it just kind of gives you an idea. Do the math on your own time zone. If you're below, in the Southern Hemisphere, well, that's a little more calculation for now. But you can see we've got these aspects here. We've got Neptune here at 24. It just went retrograde. And then the Sun and Mars. Look, they're traveling together. They're 25. So they're still in Cazimi. But still, look at that whole time. It's like all day, maybe. It's like all day Friday as they were moving, from 24 to 25 degrees. And this was moving from, 25 to 24. So they're kind of going, those degrees are going, one going forward, one going backward, but that's kind of interesting. So coming up into the day, let's just go back 1 hour. Yeah. Let's see on the moon, a couple hours back, see like the moon is at 22. So it's coming into it, and see how the moon is now 23, 24. So here we're kind of locked in. Look at that whole time. It's like it's all coming in. Wow, that's pretty cool. You know, we've got this sextile moon and Neptune, and we got the sextile moon and Sun and Mars. So, and then the moon gets closer to conjuncting Pluto. Wow. Some more interesting aspects. Sometimes the moon is an interesting trigger. Gosh, this is, I mean, I'm glad that there's sextile, you know, and then I'm glad that they're trines, because this is a very interesting, you know, figuration. Again, it's like, you know, we've got a, you know, a trine here, and then a sextile and sextile. So we got a similar thing to, like, it's like a different sort of a yod. It's not a yod, but I mean, what I'm trying to just get you to see is these kind of relationships that are the same. You got something in the middle, and then it's making the same aspect over to one planet, and then the same amount over to another planet. So we have two of those kinds of energies happening, and then, you know, with the trine energy. So this is really cool this week on that level. But then now we have well, we got, you know, the Cazimi of the Sun and Mars, right? You know, this, it's just kind of following it right into there. And then, oh yeah, let's go by day now, back to days. And then coming into Saturday, you know, we've got that, look at here, the Sun and Mars, again, they're traveling kind of together, you know, we've had this for all week. So we've got this drive and energy, you know, we've seen how it can manifest in things, and it's coming, and you know, how it's cool when you see like planets are at the, you know, they're running together before one of them, the faster one, you know, one's always speeding up or slowing down, happens. Okay, so now we already had also, I didn't talk about it, but just, I don't want to go back in there, but the moon was conjunct Pluto. So, you know, your emotions, feelings in Capricorn, it might be like drawing the line, collecting on things that you needed to collect up on. Stuff that was piling up, you might need to deal with it. Putting, it's not so much order as just emotional, like dusting your hands off, you know, emotionally, being done with something, or investigating something, looking through something, you know, the moon, you know, feeling through something, Pluto deep, transition, maybe you're done with a certain thing, you know, as the moon goes over that. All right, Saturday. What else we got? Yeah, and then the moon will also square Jupiter. You know, so right here, I got that set there. So it's, you know, the moon, I would say Saturday, our emotions are going to be, you know, coming off of, you know, the moon coming off of that conjunction with Pluto. It's kind of like going to the edge, getting to depths, and then now squaring up with Jupiter. Kind of makes for a little different kind of energies, you know, got a little trying kind of energies. It's like maybe everything's going smooth, and then there's a well, but and if, you know, wait a minute. So it's kind of a little, maybe it's a little hangnail hiccup. So just be aware of that on Saturday. And again, it's with something large, you know, Jupiter, earthy groundedness, stability being questioned. Yeah. Okay. And then we move into Sunday, and we have the moon moving into Pisces. Oh, I'm sorry, coming into it. Maybe it's earlier or right into Monday. But there's a few void of course moons also. Let's see. There's one coming up Monday, 6:50 a.m. I thought there was a couple earlier, but they were kind of early, like 5 in the morning. Oh, I should have mentioned this one on Wednesday. This coming tomorrow. We have it from like 6 at night till about 2:30 in the morning. This coming Wednesday. So be done with all your business by like 6 o'clock, you know, and then the moon goes offline. And then the other longer one, you know, Saturday, there's one like early in the morning, at least here, you know, East Coast, 3:30 to like 6:30 East Coast time. But the one on Monday, the 20th, is like almost 7 in the morning to like 9:30. So that one is like maybe stave off a little business signing of things. The moon's gonna have a little trouble, on a Monday morning coming in, and then it's coming into Pisces. So that's it wants to feel. It's like, oh, I've been offline. Oh, now I want to stay offline, kind of. Let's go PM here. Let's just see the hours. When will it move? It'll be on Monday. Let's see. All right. So about 11:30 East Coast, quarter to 11, 11, should say Central. So starting pretty much like all day Monday, we got a moon moving into Pisces. And then the first thing it does is it makes a conjunction with Saturn. So the feelings now, are dredged up maybe. Maybe something emotional or something that was you're trying to be sterile or getting rid of, or something is you're having second guesses, second thoughts, you're getting a tender heart. Maybe you're seeing it from a different angle. Maybe you're given another choice. Maybe you're being more compassionate. But that's all, that's definitely in the stars, because we got the moon, wants to be in Cancer, but it's going into Pisces, it's a sister sign, being a nice emotional, waterlogged area, which also could be putting some of that dream, that manifestation more into effect as well. Because we were talking about all that stuff coming up with all those aspects that were with Neptune, because Moon is going to cross Saturn and then go and conjunct Neptune. So, in this day and a half here, that it's 2 days, I think I'll take it to, 12 degrees and 12. Yeah, so as we coming into next week, let's just go, because we'll be back Tuesday, but let's look at here, Tuesday, let's just move. Yeah, so you can see the moon here. Let me just move some hours by next week when we meet. All right, somewhere around there. You can see that the moon is getting real close to being in Pisces there. I mean, conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. So probably during our time together, we'll be, feeling that influence. Okay, so this is our week. Let me just go back to Monday. Go back. A couple things I just wanted to mention. Monday, we also have, we've got the sun sextiling over to Pluto. So look, we kind of got some bells ringing on some of this stuff. We had the moon, that was dinging over here with Pluto. We had a couple of those quincunx there. And then now we got the sun in a nice aspect, though. So that's kind of cool. Got another sextile coming, working on that. And then on Tuesday, we have Mars, because it's so close. Right there will be, when it gets into that degree, we'll make a sextile over to Pluto. So Sun and Mars sextiling over to Pluto. What could it mean now? Well, it's, we got water and earth. We got a nice flow of that. We could have strength with transitions. We could have hopefully a restraint of war, a restraint of, getting to plutonic energy involved. Let's put it that way. We can maybe have a major discussion, because here we got all this stuff, the sun and Mars still heating up. And then maybe with the looking over the edge, things hopefully will simmer down. We could still send positive energy. All right, so that is happening, and I guess that's it for now. It was kind of an interesting week. So I think we've got some good stuff with bringing things from the unknown. That's the biggest takeaway, I think, for me. Checking off to see if it's worth it, how much it's worth. Getting it worked out in your head, and kind of like, doing the stuff to prove the worthiness of, some things that we want to bring forward. All right, more to follow, and talk next time. Bye for now.